ඉංග්‍රීසි ටියුටර් ඉංග්‍රීසි පාඩම් මාලාවේ 7 වන පාඩමට ඔබව සාදරයෙන් පිළිගන්නවා. 7 වන පාඩම Passive Voice Continuous Tenses. ඔබ දන්නවා passive voice අපි යොදාගන්නේ වාක්‍යයක subject එකට වඩා verb සහ object යන දෙකට ප්‍රමුඛතාවය දීමට අවශ්‍ය විට බව. අපි දැන් active voice වාක්‍යයක සහ passive voice වාක්‍යයක වෙනස හඳුනා ගමු. Active voice sentence. She is loving me. මෙම වාක්‍යයේ she subject එකද me object එකද is loving verb ද වෙනවා. Passive voice sentence. I am being loved by her. Passive voice වාක්‍යයේ I subject එකද her object එකද am being loved verb ද වෙනවා. දැන් ඔබට පේනවා ඇති active voice වාක්‍යයක් passive voice වාක්‍යයක් බවට පරිවර්තනය වීමේදී active voice වාක්‍යයේ subject එක passive voice වාක්‍යයේ object එක බවට පත් වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම active voice වාක්‍යයේ object එක passive voice වාක්‍යයේ subject එක බවට පත් වෙනවා. Active voice වාක්‍යයේ verb එක is loving, passive voice වාක්‍යයේදී am being loved බවට පරිවර්තනය වෙලා තියෙනවා. Lesson 7. Passive voice continuous tenses. We know passive voice is used when we want to emphasize the verb and the object of a sentence rather than the subject. Now let's look at the difference between active voice and passive voice. Active voice sentence. She is loving me. Passive voice sentence. I am being loved by her. You can see the subject of the active voice sentence becomes the object of the passive voice sentence, and the object of the active voice sentence becomes the subject of the passive voice sentence. හත්වන පාඩම Passive voice continuous tenses. මේ පාඩමේදී අපි passive voice present continuous tense සහ passive voice past continuous tense ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. Passive voice යටතේ future continuous tense භාවිතා වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Lesson 7. Passive voice continuous tenses. In this lesson, we'll be learning passive voice present continuous tense and passive voice past continuous tense. There is no future continuous tense in passive voice. Passive voice යටතේ වාක්‍ය ගොඩනැගීම සඳහාත් අපට action verb forms දැන ගැනීම අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. Passive voice වාක්‍ය ගොඩනැගීම සඳහා අප යොදාගන්නේ past participle එනම් V3 verb form එකයි. දැන් අපි action verb forms පාඩම නැවතත් මතක් කර ගනිමු. Action verbs. We know there are 4 forms of verbs: present, past, past participle and present participle, also called as V1, V2, V3 and V4. Now let's look at some examples. Love, loved, loved, loving. Run, ran, run, running. Write, wrote, written, writing. Now let's start learning passive voice present continuous tense and passive voice past continuous tense. දැන් අපි passive voice present continuous tense වාක්‍ය ගොඩනගන ආකාරය බලමු. Passive voice present continuous tense. Subject plus am is are plus being plus V3. I am being loved. I am not being loved. Am I being loved? Am I not being loved? You are being loved. You are not being loved. Are you being loved? Are you not being loved? He's being loved. He's not being loved. Is he being loved? Is he not being loved? She's being loved. She's not being loved. Is she being loved? Is she not being loved? It is being loved. It is not being loved. Is it being loved? Is it not being loved? We are being loved. We are not being loved. Are we being loved? Are we not being loved? You are being loved. You are not being loved. Are you being loved? Are you not being loved? They are being loved. They are not being loved. Are they being loved? Are they not being loved? Example sentences. I am being loved by her. I am not being loved by her. Am I being loved by her? Am I not being loved by her? දැන් අප දුටුවා passive voice present continuous tense ගොඩනගන ආකාරය. ඔබ කළ යුත්තේ ඉහත අභ්‍යාසය නැවත නැවතත් පුහුණුවීම් සිදු කිරීමයි. එවිට ඔබේ කතන හැකියාව නිසැකයෙන් වර්ධනය වේවි. දැන් අපි passive voice past continuous tense වාක්‍ය ගොඩනගන ආකාරය බලමු. Passive voice past continuous tense. Subject plus was, were plus being plus V3. I was being loved. I was not being loved. Was I being loved? Was I not being loved? You were being loved. You were not being loved. Were you being loved? Were you not being loved? He was being loved. He was not being loved. Was he being loved? Was he not being loved? She was being loved. She was not being loved. Was she being loved? Was she not being loved? It was being loved. It was not being loved. Was it being loved? Was it not being loved? We were being loved. We were not being loved. Were we being loved? Were we not being loved? You were being loved. You were not being loved. Were you being loved? Were you not being loved? They were being loved. They were not being loved. Were they being loved? Were they not being loved? Example sentences. I was being loved by her. I was not being loved by her. Was I being loved by her? Was I not being loved by her? There is no future continuous tense in passive voice. ඒ සමගින් passive voice continuous tenses පාඩම අවසන් වෙනවා. passive voice යටතේ future continuous tense භාවිතා වන්නේ නැහැ. මීළඟ පාඩම සමගින් නැවත හමුවෙමු. අලුත් පාඩම් සඳහා අපගේ channel එක subscribe කර bell icon tap කරන්න. අප විසින් ඔබ වෙත ගෙන ආ අභ්‍යාසයන් නිතර නිතර පුහුණුවීම් සිදු කරන්න. All you need to do is practice. Practice makes you perfect. That's the end of the English grammar lesson. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and tap the bell icon to stay updated.